What's going on, guys? No, just checking in. And today I want to talk to you about the fact that I do have 9 months of continuous sobriety. And I want to be very clear that this is not a video to convince you of anything. I don't care if you're a drinker, if you're not a drinker. I don't think I'm better than you or that it makes me special that I happen to be sober and I happen to have stayed sober this long. I just want to be open about it because it's a big part of my life. I've been struggling with alcohol since I was a kid, 28 years old now, and this is the longest I've ever stayed sober. So that's it. I just want to share about it. And you're welcome here, whether you're a raging alcoholic or you've never drank in your life. I bring no ego to the table, or at least I always try not to. So I just want to talk about that because I relapsed on this channel and I shared about it. And so I think every now and again I need to address this topic and let anyone know that may benefit or who gives a damn that I'm still sober. It certainly benefits me. Anyway, with that little disclaimer out, I also want to talk about whether or not I miss drinking, because when it comes to sobriety, that's probably the most common question that I get, is whether or not I miss it. And so I will answer that as well to the best of my abilities. Now, in terms of looking back on what my life was like before I got sober, I really don't want to dive deep into it, but edification being an important part of any story when you're listening to a stranger. Most of you don't know me. Some of you have been following the channel for a long time, and y'all my people. So you guys know me pretty well now. But all you need to know is that prior to getting sober, I just loved to drink all the time because I liked how it made me feel. And the reason that was a problem was because I didn't set good boundaries with that, and self-control was non-existent. So I wanted to drink all the time, and when I wasn't drinking, all I thought about was drinking all the time. And everything in my life went to the wayside. Everything I cared about always came second when I was to be completely honest with myself. The hot pursuit of my next fix, my next buzz, was the round table of my life that I just circled. And my life was affected negatively by it. Being someone that suffers depression and anxiety, depersonalization, and just been battling alcoholism since I was a kid, you can imagine that not a lot of good came from it. And someday I really do want to dive into a deep look at my whole story and my whole background, but not today. All you need to know is that I believe I'm an alcoholic with all my heart, and 9 months ago, but by the grace of God, I decided to get sober. I'd had enough, and now we're here. Building up into when I decided to get sober, I was drinking 6 nights a week, I'd say. Let's just say 12 to 18 beers a night would be normal for me. My mental health, my physical health was going down the toilet. I was at the risk of losing a relationship that matters to me more than anything with my fiance, Jessie. And my whole life was sort of on the fringe. So, all that being said, I got sober. And you know what? Getting sober is not a light switch to happiness or success, but what I have found in my humble experience, I can only speak for me, I would never ever try to speak for sober people in general, but for me, I do recognize that it has allowed me the opportunity to be more respectful of other people, to be more responsible of my commitments, towards my commitments. It's allowed me to investigate what actually matters to me and what doesn't really matter to me, and in a more honest way. When you eliminate something that was occupying so much of your time, you're sort of left with a version of yourself that you're not familiar with. And I'm not trying to speak in code, but in other words, I didn't really know who I was without alcohol being a normal part of my life. And in a lot of ways, I'm still learning, but it certainly allowed me the opportunity to try to be a better person, a better version of myself, because as a drinker, I'm just about as selfish as you can possibly imagine, because it occupied all my mind. And so you take that away and you start to notice other people, other places, other things, and you start to realize how empty, your life is feeling, and at least that's how it was feeling for me. But it certainly is not a ticket to happiness. It's not a guarantee. There's a lot of work to do. And in the past, I've always gotten sober and, sorry, I just felt like I had something in my eye. I always got sober and was really gung-ho about it in the beginning. I think it's natural. You're just so excited to have broken the cycle, the depressing, miserable cycle of someone who can't seem to let go of the drink like me. But then it gets hard. Then your mood becomes less stable. Your sense of self, like I said, is all kinds of fucked up for a lot of people, including me. And you get squirrely and you realize that alcohol was probably just a symptom that your issue is you. And if you don't know how to be with you or deal with you, you go running right back to alcohol to cope, to deal with life. And that's what I was doing. And so I've had to push through that. And it's been really, really hard in a lot of ways. And I would never, ever trade it for what I was doing before, but it's really required a lot of effort, energy, and faith, and hope, and trust in other people. And so I have been using a 12-step program. I've been doing everything that's suggested in that 12-step program, everything from getting a service position to working with a sponsor to going to meetings to blah, blah, blah. And it's been the cornerstone of my sobriety at this time, and I really pray that I can stick with it, because I believe that happiness could be around the corner someday, and consistent mental stability could be around the corner, but it frazzles your brain. And you hear people say all the time in early sobriety that it takes a while for things to get back to normal, and I don't remember normal so well anymore, but I can certainly tell you that, you know, I don't have the high highs that I had when I was buzzed, but I don't have the low lows I had when I was terribly hungover, and slowly I feel like my brain is starting to get a little more even, but I'm still working through it. What's life all about? Who is Noah without alcohol? What's important to me? What matters? And how can I be happy? You know, where is my pursuit of happiness going to come from? And when I first got sober, I dove really hard into the 12-step program and into food, and then I've since cleaned up my diet these last couple months. And it kind of leaves you empty again and wondering how to fill that void and how to get that dopamine response in a good way and how to be happy. And so it's a spiritual investigation. It's a personal life investigation. It's a lot of hard work, but I'm really grateful. And I hope that that is what you take out of this, because I've sort of sounded a little bit dark, but I just want to be real that it hasn't been easy, and it hasn't always been fun at all. It's been really hard and challenging and depressing and anxiety provoking, but it's been amazing. And it's a chance at a real life for me, a real life. Real happiness is what I'm look for now, whatever that means, to whatever capacity. I no longer care for that artificial bliss that I was running to. It was fleeting. And so I hope that you know that I'm just grateful that I'm still sober. I'm grateful because I see people that have remained sober and worked a 12-step program for much longer than 9 months, and I see that they worked towards a life that I want. And that's what I'm keeping in my mind, that even though I feel crazy a lot of the times in early sobriety, an emotional roller coaster is like my life is just being on that roller coaster, I see hope in other people's eyes. I see a life that I want to live, and I hold on to that really dearly. And then I just cherish these little moments of sobriety that are so unfamiliar but so beautiful. Little moments of peace, little moments of hope, little moments of happiness they're fleeting. They're not holding on too long. But the dread and the hopelessness that I felt during my drinking, towards the end of my drinking, that is gone. I don't have that dread anymore, and that dread consumed my very being, you know, because I just couldn't stop. I didn't know how to stop. So there's still much more to do, and I just want to continue to take it one day at a time and just respect the process and trust and have faith that other people who have maintained sobriety and who also have a history of depression and anxiety, which a lot of people who try to get sober do, you know, they found a life worth living that is unimaginable to them. And that's in the promises, and I just want that. So to quickly answer the question, because I've already talked for a long time, and I don't script my shit, I just speak from the heart. But to answer the question, do I miss drinking? The answer is no. I don't miss drinking, but I do sometimes miss the fantasy of what drinking represented to me. The drinking you see in the movies oftentimes, the drinking you see in advertisements, the drinking that I romanticize and look back on when I was young and carefree and there were no repercussions yet and there were no problems. I didn't realize I was an alcoholic. You know, that whole fantasy of drinking, I sometimes miss, because I'm an escape artist. I like to escape. I have trouble sometimes dealing with life as it is. And I want something different. I want to be able to get away fast. And that's one thing that sobriety teaches you is no, you have to deal with life on life's terms. You have to learn how to be an active participant in your life when it's going well and when it's going bad. And before, good or bad or indifferent, I was drinking to celebrate and or mourn. And so now I'm not. I don't miss the reality of what drinking was. I don't miss the hopelessness in that bottle. I don't miss staring at the fridge at the Plaid Pantry on a Sunday night at 2 in the morning when I got work in the morning, just staring at the beer, trying to decide if I'm going to drink, if I'm not going to drink, knowing that I would. You know, I don't miss those hangovers. I don't miss not being available mentally and emotionally to my woman. I don't miss the sadness and the way it destroyed my body. I drank and just it ate my body alive. I was one of those allergic reaction drinkers. Face got all blotchy and red, horrible diarrhea, and then just this no sense of purpose, no sense of self. and no energy to pursue any goals or anything of real value in life for me. I don't miss the reality of drinking. I sometimes miss the fantasy, and I try to always call that out when I feel that way. That's a fucking fantasy. That wasn't reality for me. And yeah, it's a pretty serious topic. And I don't ever want to come across as nonchalant and is jovial the word when it comes to drinking. My life depends on staying sober. My very life depends on staying sober. I believe for me to drink is to die, and I just hope I never take that lightly, because a lot of people don't make it back once they go back out drinking. I just don't want that to be my story. But I'm grateful today. I'm going to end it on that. Gratitude. I have the chance to try to figure out life without pouring alcohol into my body every day. I have the chance. And it's going to continue to require work and effort and faith, and I'm going to try to do all those things and just take it as it comes, real slow, real gentle, and I pray that I can continue to update you guys in a way that shows progress, not perfection. Thank you so much for your time. Good luck to you if you're in a journey of sobriety, and just know that if you're not, and you're a drinker, but you're wondering, maybe do I have a problem, maybe do I not, there's a ton of resources out there. Look into it, and don't be afraid to examine that. And if you're a drinker who can drink normally, and you have a healthy life and a healthy relationship with drinking, my fucking hat's off to you. More power to you. If I could have done it, I would have. Thank you for letting me share. Thank you for letting me share. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you. Hope you're having a great day, and here's to the next day, one day at a time. We'll see you guys in the next video.